what's up? Welcome back to my channel. My name's Jade. If this is your first time here, welcome aboard. If it's not, welcome back. Today, we are going to talk about how I prepared myself in my season of singleness for my husband. This is before I even knew that James Johnson even existed. A little bit of background. So, number one, I was a chronic dater. I was obsessed with dating, like literally being with someone. I wouldn't even say dating, with being in a relationship. I always had a boyfriend. I always was in committed relationships. I won't say they were the best. Some of them were incredibly toxic. That's a different day. But I always was in a relationship. So I had no idea how to be single. I had no idea what to do, what to expect. I really had to break myself out of the feeling of wanting to be wanted, wanting to be validated by someone else. I knew that I wanted to be a wife. I knew that I eventually one day wanted to be a mom, but I came to the realization that there's no way that I'm going to be ready or able to be anyone's wife if I don't know how to satisfy myself, because I'll continue to do the same things over and over and over, look for somebody else to make me happy. So I'm going to talk to you a little bit about how I got there and how I got to being married and how I prepared for my husband. You want to know more? Just keep watching. All right, so number one, the first thing that I did is I cut off everyone. When I tell you I cut off everyone, literally, I only spent time with my immediate family and my closest friends. I literally have 3 of those. And that's it. Like, I still went out, socialized with other people, but I was incredibly intentional with how I spent my time. So quite literally, everyone got cut. And that was just for my own benefit, because even aside from being in committed relationships for a very long time, I still were depending on other people to make me happy. My roommate, my friends, my family. Like, I was so dependent on other people telling me how I should live my life and what I should be doing that I didn't know how to do it by myself. So I literally cut everyone off. And God really helped me with that. Like, He really did. My roommate, who I loved dearly, who I was living with at the time, has always had 10 trillion friends. And she would be gone on the weekends, and I would have to figure out how to entertain myself without a man, how to entertain myself without going to friend's house and getting blacked out drunk and texting some old dip. Like, I had to cut all of that out. So that was the first thing. And that was really difficult. The whole thing was difficult, but that was a lot of self-discipline. The second thing that I did is I spent a lot of intentional time with God. And if you don't know, you're about to know, I am a huge Jesus lover. I'm a huge God lover, a huge Holy Spirit lover. And that was honestly the driving force in this whole season of being single. But I spent a lot of intentional time with God. And when I say intentional time, I mean all day, every day. Not just necessarily praying. Yes, I spent a lot of time praying, but I just made Him a daily part of my day. Like, when I woke up, obviously I said a prayer. When I was in the car, I was talking to God. And sometimes praying isn't just stopping what you're doing, literally kneeling down. It's literally just having a conversation with God, expressing yourself, talking. That's how you build a rapport. And that's what I did. I spent a lot of time with Jesus. I even had date nights with God, quite literally. I would, like, on Friday nights, get a glass of wine, a 30-count Chick-fil-A nugget, I sure did, and I would sit there in my living room while my roommate was out and, like, just had intentional time with God. When I tell you, like, I was like, how was your day, Jesus? Did you see? I know you saw what this chick did today. Like, literally just engrossing myself with God. It sounds silly, but date nights with Jesus are some of my favorite pastimes of my single season. Number 3, I fasted. Now, don't get it twisted, sis. I did not fast from food because I'm not built that way. You know, Jesus knows I'm not built for that. I need that 30-count nug from Chick-fil-A with the Polynesian sauce. But I fasted from other things. I fasted from social media. I do that pretty frequently, every now and then, just now, because I always feel like I'm reaching for that. But again, I had to take away that other thing, that other self-validation that I needed, things that just make me pass time. No, I needed to figure out why my mind was doing what it was doing. Why do I automatically go to social media when I'm bored? And I'm also watching other people. I wasn't prepared to see other friends and family get engaged and do all the things that I was aspiring for. I wasn't strong enough, and I recognized that. I didn't want the spirit of envy or jealousy to even come in my spirit. So I literally just eliminated social media until I felt like I was strong enough to handle that. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with saying, like, I'm not ready to see that. My body, my spirit's not ready for that. So I eliminated social media. I was really mindful with TV and the things that I watched. I literally was so intentional with my time. I was almost militant. I'm the type of person that has to be cold turkey, but maybe you're one of those people who have to gradually do it. Maybe you put a timer on your phones. We now have these smartphones where you can put timers on your phone, limits on your social media accounts, things like that, where you have to literally train your mind to do things. It's true. It's called CBT, cognitive behavioral therapy. You have to constantly train your mind. It's the only way you're going to do it. I did a 3 a.m. prayer for 14 days at one point. There was no specific time. It was just 14 days for 14 days straight for 2 weeks. I set my alarm. I woke up at 3 a.m. every day, and I like to pray in my closet. I went into my closet and I just prayed. Every day I prayed for something different. I prayed for myself to become a wife. I started praying for my husband, not even knowing him, praying for what I wanted him to be like, the values that I wanted in him, how he was doing throughout the day. I started praying for my family, praying for my husband's future family. Every day for 14 days, I did that. So why did I get up at 3 a.m.? Number one, just discipline to say that I would do it. Number two, 3 a.m., if you didn't know, is the darkest hour before dawn. And just let that marinate for a minute. The darkest hour before dawn. In this season of singleness, I felt like it was dark, okay? But dawn, when that comes, it's beautiful. The sun rises, it's something new, it's something beautiful. So that's what I did. I felt like in my season of singleness, it was my darkest hour before my new day. So that's what I did for 14 days. It was transformative. I actually did it with some people. So the first week I did it by myself, and then I really started to see a change in myself. So I invited friends and family to do it with me, not together, but just like challenged each other to do this at 3 a.m. every day. And it was beautiful. And people were talking about breakthrough like no other. Definitely highly encourage that one. The next thing that I did, in my time of prayer, and I kind of mentioned this a little earlier, is I asked God to show me the areas where I needed improvement. Now, this is something that I still work on, is so difficult. Asking God to show you where your areas of improvement are. It's so easy for us to say, you, the other person, you need to work on that. You need to work on that. But when you ask God to show you, it burns a little bit, okay? People you love, people you don't even know will start coming for you. But you have to think of it as a blessing. They're coming for you because you asked for this. How is God going to get this message to you? Now, yes, sometimes he'll come down and straight tell you, this is what you need to do, sis. But other times he uses other people, other situations, other methods of communication to talk to you. And that was rough, okay? I asked God to show me the good stuff, the bad stuff, and not the so great stuff. I needed God to show me the things that I really needed to work on before I got a husband, okay? And I'm still working on this now, but one is like, in the Bible, there's a specific verse that talks about being a quarrelsome wife. Like, no man wants to come home and all you do is all day long. My husband may beg to differ. But I'm working on it. And I even knew that in my season of singleness, that that's something I need to work on. I have to work on perfectionism. I have to work on always trying to get things done in a scheduled manner. Those are things that God revealed to me in my season of singleness that I still am working on now in my season of marriage. It's not easy, but when God shows you and God tells you, it's real and it works. It really does work. This one, and then we're going to get personal, get a little closer because we're going to talk a little bit about sex. I went celibate. Yep, I did. Cold turkey. cold turkey, like straight up, this is it. I am no longer having sex. I am saving my body for my husband. That, when you are surrendering to God, this whole season of singleness, if I'm talking about all these tips, this didn't happen in a week. This was time, months and months and months. And that was probably the last step that I did, because I was still holding on to that piece. I was like living this life for God, but in the background, sis was still getting down with a dip, okay? And I knew that was wrong. Like, I knew this was so bad. I would literally, like, we're having a TMI moment. I would literally be like laying in bed with an ex-boyfriend who I knew I had no business being with, and God would quite literally wake me up, say, "Wake up, Jade. Get the heck home." Literally, it was so uncomfortable. Or like, I'd be at the guy's house and like my mom would randomly call me. And still then, even at the age 20 something, my mom still gives me the fear of death. Like, it's still now at 30. And that's just true. Like, God will make you so uncomfortable. So I made a vow and I was like, I'm celibate. Like, God, I am saving myself for you, for my wedding day, for my husband. I am cleansing myself, Lord. I want to be brand new. And that was hard. But the moment, like, since that was like my last step, I should have said this last, I think that's the trigger. I think that was a trigger. That was what God was waiting for. He was waiting me just to give all of me. He doesn't want to give you parts of him, parts of you. He wants all of you. And the moment that you can give all is the moment that he will give you his all. Now, I'll be very honest, I could do another video about the celibacy. My husband and I initially started, but we did not make it until our wedding day. I'd be happy to share more about that. If you want to know, put it down in the comments. We could talk about that story a little later. But we both went into it trying, but we did not succeed. However, the point is, I initially tried, and I like wholeheartedly tried. I did not go into it saying like, all right, God, I'm going to try. And then when he comes, like, I'm going to give it up. Like, no, it was not like that. I legitimately tried. And it's because God knew my heart. And I really did try. And so did my husband. The other one, small tip, I kind of already said this already, is I became infatuated with other YouTubers and different books and podcasts about being single, about what that means to be single in your 20s and what does it mean to find yourself. And still at age 30, I'm pretty confident I know who Jade Johnson is, but there's still some parts of her that I want to explore more and I want to dig into and learn more about her. And one woman, and I'm going to give a major shout out right now, she's a little controversial for some, but for me, she worked. A wonderful resource that I used in my season of singleness was my girl, Heather Lindsey. She's not really my girl, but in my mind, she is. And she was so helpful to me. She has a ton of videos that I would literally just watch. I would play in the background. I would have at night, like instead of watching TV, I would watch this. Like, she is blessed and touched, and so is her husband. And they're just amazing. And I highly, highly, highly recommend just subscribing to her channel, watching her videos, because she speaks truth, and sis will tell you like it is. Sometimes you need an auntie who's going to be like, don't do that. And you feel like she's talking to you. And it's great. And then the last thing, and again, these were no order, is I prayed for my husband every day. Every single day. I quite literally set an alarm on my phone, and I still have the same alarm on my phone to this day, is to pray for my husband. Back then, it said pray for my husband. I didn't know who my husband is. Now it says pray for James Johnson, who is my husband. And I would pray for him every day at 11:26. Don't know why it was 11:26 a.m., but that's just the time, and it still is every day. I pray for him every day at 11:26 a.m. And I'm not praying for us or to change him. I'm praying for him. I'm praying for his future goals. I'm praying for his mental health. I'm praying for his finances. I'm praying for his spending. I'm praying for his increase. I'm praying for his health. I'm praying for his relationship with his friends, his family, just him. Absolutely nothing to do with me. Absolutely nothing to do with our son. Just him. every single day, because if you're not praying for him, sis, who else is? And little did I know, I found out later that he had an alarm on his phone too, and he prayed for me, and that was without me even knowing it. We just talked about it one day and it just came up. So those are some of the ways that I prepared for my husband. I have been married going on 2 years. My husband and I have been dating we've known each other for about 4. If you are interested in knowing about our love story, I would be more than happy to let you know. Spoiler alert, it went down in the DM. That's where we met, and I'll be more than happy to share that story. If you want to know that story, give me a thumbs up, put it in the comments, or if you want to know more about a specific topic that I talked about, I'd be more than happy to share that story. We're all friends now, right? All right, everybody, if this video spoke to you, please make sure that you subscribe, and I'm praying for all you guys. You guys stay prayed up.